Whoa, that's awesome, right? That's pretty cool. I like it. So
I like
every week it's like, boom.
Like it's for the first time again somehow. I have no idea.
Yeah, I know. It's so good. It's so good. Well, hey everyone, well, welcome to another episode of Pitch It Live. I'm Adam Bielanski, your host, along with my amazing co-host, Sean Lardo. We're thrilled to have you join us today, guys.
You know what? Hey, Adam, thank you for that. You did really well. And for some reason, you got a lot of robotic moves going on in the green room. You're doing it. Now I appreciate it because maybe it's because of the Olympic breakdancing, which, the Australian chick was the greatest.
One and done. Yep.
Yeah, they're done already. They were like, we can't do breakdancing ever again in the Olympics. But yeah. So how you doing, dude? How's Denver?
Denver's pretty awesome. Weather was awesome. It's perfect out there. I was going to do it outside, but the sun was shining on my laptop, dark screen, and it was getting hot. So I decided to come inside. It's cold inside here. Very busy. A lot of great conversations, great dinners, great drinks, a lot of connections. Really awesome community to be part of. If you're not out here at IT Nation Evolve, get involved in the community. It's freaking awesome.
Yep, it is. And I would agree. Yeah. I have a lot of good friends there, a lot of good partners that I've known for years that are part of this. And honestly, I don't know, they do really well. I mean, if you're looking to be successful as an MSP, you should be part of a peer group regardless, whether it's this one or that one. But you can't do it alone. I don't know any business owner that does it alone. So
yeah, for sure. So it gets busy. It gets tiring. So I'm here 3 days, so I got 2 more to go. And we're elevation, so But anyway, we're here for one reason, Sean. We're here for PitchIT, and this is the final week.
This is for us, yes, for the contestants, for the class of 2024 contestants. This is exactly the last week of them showing off their stuff before they actually have to compete live next week on virtual everything, which coincidentally speaking, this morning, Matt Solomon and I did a live draft on what days each person has and what slot they're in to draft. So starting next Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, we'll begin the actual live pitch offs where in collaboration with the channel program being live streamed. So every MSP that's involved in anything that cares about anything about this should watch, because part of us determining of the 25 companies that are in right now, the 3 that will go to the finals is determined by partly of their involvement in the polling questions that the channel program puts out immediately after. So
Sean, is there a registration link or anything I can share on here? This would be pretty awesome to actually have this shared if there's a registration link to watch it.
That's a great question. So, I have one. Let me get it.
But I'm going to go ahead and quickly create a banner here for the channel program. But while we're doing that, Sean, it's been 16 grueling weeks. You want to talk a little bit about the final, the prize, and the format of the PitchIT for the week 16 of our going live?
Yeah. So let's talk about what the competition consists of, right? This is a Shark Tank competition, as you know. All these vendors got in. We started with 26. One dropped out because it became too rigorous, I suppose. But that happens. There's a lot put on them. There's a lot of demand put on them to get through these weeks. Actually, I talked to somebody the other day, and we were saying we have a syllabus for all the trainings, and he said, "Shouldn't you call this more of a boot camp?" And it kind of is. It's a 6-week boot camp because it's not just we do weekly training sessions. We also do every week. We do live streams, podcast, whatever is taking place, and they're doing with multiple communities. So they're putting a lot of time into actually promoting this and moving themselves forward. The goal is, we basically stand on 3 pillars, probably, really, when it comes down to it. It's the networking they're getting, it's the training they're getting, and it's the brand awareness, which leads to lead generation and ROI. That's what this is all about, right? And it's a huge community feel for it. But like I said, this is a competition. So as good as all that sounds, at the end of the 16 weeks, like I said, next week is the Battle Royale with cheese, and that is all about them competing to see over the next 2 weeks after that will be determining who those 3 finalists are based off of MSP feedback, but also they do a private investor pitch to people that are of seniority in the organization. So between that scorecard and these surveys, that is who we determines to make it to the finals. And they're all competing for the grand prize of $70,000.
And second place?
$30,000.
And third place?
Marvin B. steak knives.
You better get some steak knives out there.
Marvin B. he brings them. He literally brings them from his own.
Awesome. Well, you know what? Every single week, we do this, and we, face to face with some of the really awesome innovators in the marketplace. And really, this show is all about just getting to know the people behind the scenes and understand the product a little bit, right? And today's no exception. We do have two awesome contestants with us, Kris from Cavelo and also Greg from ZenContract. They're here to showcase their products and share their unique journeys to bring, the product to market and their experience here in PitchIT. So I'm excited to have them join us. And, it's a unique week because we actually have two more tomorrow, I believe. Another live session.
We're trying to finish it up. We're trying to close off strong.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we do. We have tomorrow. Let's see here. Oh, we have Exemplify and Rhythms tomorrow.
Yep, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
We'll recap that at the end, so it'll be fun. So, but I want to remind our viewers, we have quite a few people watching live. This isn't just a show; it's an interactive experience, as I like to call it. So you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes, we want you to be part of this conversation. Like this, share it out with your friends, comment, engage with us, drop us questions in the chat. Challenge the people here competing and understanding their products and get to know them more. Sean and I will be keeping an eye on that conversation and having those insights and to get that really good discussion going. So with that, no further ado, unless you have anything else, Sean, but I'm going to bring on Kris.
No, I just want to get this shit rolling because I want these guys to get as much. They need practice.
That's exactly right, because they got a competition coming up.
Especially the twinsies are on. I don't know who I'm talking to. Who's talking? I'm not.
Yeah. Okay, fine. We'll go like this.
What's up, Kris?
Hey, guys. Oh, the banter is just hilarious. I gotta love it.
Is that
the band is back together?
Something's going on. I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah, we do what we can. This is like Adam says, this is an engaging show. This is a live interaction show. There's no way telling what's going to go happen and what's going to go right or wrong, So thank you, Kris, for the support. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, Kris, tell us a little bit about Cavelo. What is Cavelo?
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So Cavelo from day one has been built for MSPs. We have a number of core pillars in the platform. It's designed to bring a simple to deploy and manage attack surface management platform to market that MSPs can quickly understand the customer environments that they are going to be responsible for managing and have an understanding of where their customers' crown jewels live, the private, sensitive, and important data that they might be responsible for protecting, understand who's got access to it, understand where the devices that house that stuff are vulnerable and what to do about it, and understand all of the dark, scary corners in that customer environment, but by knowing every device that has an IP address and classifying it appropriately.
Gotcha. So let me ask this, because Sean knows I absolutely love security, but we had on last week a PitchIT contestant, ThreatMate. So I'm curious, both you guys have platforms. Is there what's the differentiator between those?
Yeah.
What makes your offering unique?
Yeah, very good question. So from our standpoint, we are trying to do what a lot of platforms don't. And what I mean by that is many people are shifted right of boom. They're in the block and tackle space, and we are trying to be more data visibility and insights in order to round out anybody's security stack. Everybody puts up their castle wall for defense and builds up their bricks with their set of tools. Everybody forgets to ask themselves, well, what the heck are we trying to protect in the first place? And that's the question that we're trying to answer for an MSP.
Yeah. Okay. So you're left of boom, and I believe ThreatMate made the same thing last week, was left of boom. So I'm coming from like, okay, well, what's right of boom? What is that? What define that, if you don't mind?
Yeah, no. So I would say, to answer your first question, our orientation is around any customer's data. That is the sun that everything else revolves around, because it is ultimately the root of the thing that we are all trying to protect. Most people will concentrate on things like vulnerability management only, but we don't get green checkboxes for just patching. Why are we patching? We're patching in order to protect your customer's IP and their crown jewels, and that's the data. Any organization is really made up of the collection of data that they have over time. And that is the thing that we are trying to orient all decision-making around.
So, okay. So even with the, so you mentioned a few things about the differentiator for you in general at large, right? About, and I think you said data driven, right?
Yeah.
So
data discovery and classification is a core principle for us. That is where we focus. All other things fall off of that.
So can you elaborate a little bit on those pieces? And can you turn it into and turn it into a business conversation, actually, not just some techies, which I know you're not going to, but just so everybody understands, we're not here to have a technical conversation.
Yeah.
So
I get it. So from an MSP standpoint, oftentimes they get stuck in a conversation with their customers where they're making technology-oriented best practice recommendations, and their customers, not speaking tech, get lost in those recommendations and don't know how to make a decision about it. So our platform allows an MSP to have a conversation based around business risk and liability and dollars and cents, which their C-level decision makers understand. And so they can have conversations that their best practices, recommendations about how to fortify a customer's environment get heard, understood, can have budget created and released to the MSP in order to get something done.
Got it. Okay. Okay, Adam. What else, Adam? Adam's becoming an expert in one phone call. So let's go.
I am. I'm just learning all about security, left of boom, right of boom, and understanding the different platforms, because I do a lot of these different things, and it's like I see IT Nation Secure. It's like all these different acronyms. I'm like, okay, which ones do I need to make sure I have covered? Which ones give me the most, one platform that covers the widest, acronyms, if you will.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm trying to fill in the gaps here. So, I have to subscribe to this. And it's like, that seems like a lot of subscriptions.
Yeah, I would leave you with this, Adam. We round out any MSP's already preferred chosen set of block and tackle tools, because our ability to provide focus around the data and give insights and visibility about it, let those tools work to their best possible effort in protecting the stuff that counts, because now you can see it, understand it, prioritize it, and make decisions about how to remediate things.
Nice. What are you drinking out of, Sean? Is that
my coffee
Barbara
mug?
Walters on there?
No, it's Betty White.
Betty White.
The original baddie.
Yeah, that's helpful. But thank you very much, Kris. We do have another contestant on here, so we'll pop over to Greg and bring him on. We'll see you in a minute.
It's like, peace out, just so you know.
Peace.
What's up, Greg?
You say, hey, how you doing?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good early morning.
It is, yeah. We're in the future. Love to give you the lot of numbers, but it's a lovely early morning Thursday where I am in New Zealand.
Awesome.
Wait, what time is it?
6 o'clock or thereabouts. It's not super early, but it's early enough.
That's fine. That's time for you. Now, if you were like Matt Topper and team, you would be doing your 6 a.m. run right now at the conference for some strange reason when they do it. And John Harden and those guys. And I think
I hosted in 2019. I hosted an early morning yoga session, but I just rolled straight in from the bar. So it was entertaining, to say the least.
Nice. So, Kris, Greg, can you tell us a little about ZenContract? What do you guys do?
So we provide a contract lifecycle management platform that goes all the way from e-signatures, templates, through to legal services, and provides a best-in-class platform totally integrated into all of the MSP tools. So you can go from contract chaos to contract hero. We've done a lot of surveying of MSPs, all across the globe, and we found that at least 2 in 3, so 66%, are worried about their contracts or their liability or how to manage them or missing renewals. And this platform was built out of mine and some of my business partners' 30 plus years experience of stuffing up contracts in our MSPs and wanting to get that right.
No, I think we can all appreciate that, because the velocity of sales is always dictated by getting agreements out, and it's a big struggle point. And there's so many different factors, and just why the contract really doesn't change anything, right? It's everything from vendors are using to price books to terms and conditions to whatever, right? There's a ton of stuff. So it's kind of important. And it hurts a lot of people from doing business, I realize too. It almost makes people afraid to quote out anything because they don't know how to put together proposals or put contracts out.
So when you change the way you look at it, and like, because some people have a sales team using a price book and proposals, and then another team doing contracts after the fact. Now, sometimes those things don't marry up, but you'd think they would do. But if you bring all of that process into one, so you marry the ZenContract marries in the proposal and quote management with the contract management underpinned by the master services agreement, you get this real good flow through your team. It eliminates a whole bunch of mistakes. It brings your accuracy up, brings your liability right down, and you end up in this really good state where you get contracts and proposals out the door that are married up real quickly. They get e-signatures back in, build the contract automatically into the PSA. You get a real quick ability to scale up, and you scale with minimal risk. So it's an important function for your business and your future of your business. So we took ours to market. The last one that I had, I've been doing this 30 years, as I said. I've built 3 of them and sold them off. It's kind of irrelevant that it's in a different country, but we went through this process and streamlined all of our contracts and our proposals. Before we did that, we only got offered a 4 times multiplier. By the time we sold, it was a 10 times multiplier. So you don't have to just be looking to sell to get those gains. What you get is all the efficiency and the flow from quote to cash all the way through upfront. It makes a difference in your life, minimizes your risk.
And that's fair. And actually, that takes me to a question on, as far as your involvement in this and the differentiators, what's the difference between you and like a Monger?
Yeah, look, it's I mean, I know Monger and I respect them, but they've got amazing contracts. We have amazing contracts and workflows and software to automate this process. So it's a 2-for-1 deal as opposed to a 1 deal.
Okay. So because what he talks about is he actually focuses mostly on the legality of it, I feel like.
Correct. We have an in-house lawyer that can provide good legals and audit your MSAs. We have that as well. And I'm not going to say we're as good as them or that's not it, but we have that service.
Sure.
Ours is all of the software and automation and workflows and AI to work in the background to manage that process. So you get that streamlined process. We also have design services, which is unique in the market to be able to make your contracts look and feel and copy to read well. We really concentrate in there and making it easy for the customer to assimilate and not getting lost in legalese. Not saying others do, but that's a good place to be. Mm-hmm. And also to make it look and feel nice and pretty in the way that you present with your website and everything. So we've got design services. So we have those as augmented in. That's no one else in the market does that. That's a great place to be. You look and feel good, and then you've got this software that manages it all the way from. And you could liken it to a DocuSign on steroids that's built specifically for MSPs. That's kind of where ZenContract sits.
Nope, that's fair. And so it just sounds like, actually, if anything, you guys could end up becoming more complementary and less competitive early if you wanted to.
Yeah, we have spoken in the past actually about being there. We're both in PitchIT at the moment, so I'm guessing those conversations will be after the next few weeks.
Good friendly competition.
Yeah,
they all try to play nicely with one another.
Yeah, as you finish smashing him in the battle royale next week, then you guys.
Yeah, I mean, what's great about having both Monger and ZenContract in PitchIT, and it's both our second year, by the way, is it? I think he might have been here last time.
Yeah, both.
Is that it means that the industry as a whole is trying to stamp out this whole contract complacency. Like with contracts at the moment, good enough is no longer good enough. We've been, as an industry, we've been kind of creeping along for a while, just thinking, well, we had something that was written 5 years ago. Those terms will be fine. Our industry's evolving, and the legalese side of what Monger are bringing to market, the same with ZenContract, is maturing the market. And we call it that we're trying to eliminate contract complacency. And, it's a bit of a fancy term, but we've just been creeping along thinking it'll be okay. We need to get active about it.
I can't disagree with that. I mean, I think Amazon changed the world and how people should purchase, right? How that instantaneous purchase and the expectations, which elevated the retail element. Same rules apply when it comes to and consider most consumers go through an Amazon or a POS system of some sort or a made to order of some sort you have to be just as efficient. You're not saying MSPs need to go build a made to order screen. That's not what we're talking about. But the whole mentality of how you should purchase. Look at online banking. Look at all the different things that have changed over the years. You don't have to go physically anywhere to have efficient turnaround on a purchase. So MSP should be in the same boat. So should contractors. Yes. I'm just waiting for a contract for a guy to come build my deck for like 3 months now. I've never got a quote from the guy. I'm like, here's my money, please. I can't get a quote from him. So same rules apply, just so we're clear.
Yeah. There's bound to be some face-to-face either online to discuss and describe the service. But then once the service is defined, getting a contract out to them should be...
That should be the easiest part. That's make it easy to do business with. That's why. Yeah. You can't control the conversation, so to speak, but you can control what happens after you agree on terms of you and your process, your sales process.
Yeah, what used to, I mean, look, in my MSP, we went from, nearly 50 hours a month managing contracts down to 1.5. Our accuracy went through the roof. Mitigation and liability went, right down. So those 3 factors really make it a much more enjoyable place and way to do business. And that's what ZenContract enables.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exciting.
Awesome. That was pretty good. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. I'm going to bring Kris back on. There he is.
Look, Adam took his hat off, so he didn't look quite the same anymore. He felt.
That's exactly right.
You got to put it back on, man. Got to put it back on.
You didn't want to have his outfits on this show.
For sure.
His and his.
So we have some great guys here. And I want to talk about understand kind of what have been some of the challenges, go to market and so forth, to get to know what that struggle is and how long you've been kind of in the market. When did you guys got to start? Kris, I'll start out with you first. If you want to just answer that.
Yeah, sure. So we've been going to market for about 3 years. We were stealth mode 3 years previous to that, building the platform and product out. We had a previous successful exit in the vulnerability management space. And we took the learnings from that and said, okay, we need to add additional context, being the structure of where is the data, because that's ultimately what we're trying to protect. But some of the challenges really from our perspective is simply getting the word out about the fact that we exist and we're an option. Penetration in the MSP space can be somewhat difficult and challenging. And it does require a fair bit of marketing budget to do that, and picking the correct events and the correct experiences to get the exposure necessary to accelerate in the way that we would like to has been a challenge. But I think we're dialing that in now, certainly through things like the PitchIT program. So it is becoming more successful, and we've had some recent successes. We're 55% revenue growth this year. Less than 5% churn, 40,000 agents deployed in the wild, and $12.8 billion in end customer liability being discovered, classified, monitored by MSPs using the Cavelo platform. So we're really getting some good traction moving forward. So what we're doing now to get the word out is finally having some effect.
Some good traction. Awesome. And Greg, what about yourself?
Yeah, look, it's no secret coming from a different country and launching into the US is challenging, because I think feet on the street is always pretty important, and attending shows and things. So quite a few flights for me back and forth, hanging out with Mr. Lardo and different portions of US territories can be fun, which is good. But you're right. Yeah, decent sized amount of budget to just get the story in front of people, having other people in market that are concentrating on legal services. Mondra and Bradley Gross is really good, and it's great for the industry. It's sort of part of the mission. Is when I had a successful exit out of my last MSP for that 10x multiplier, and which was good, and a couple of things before, but I really felt like this was one area in the MSP industry that we could make a good impact for good, and actually get the industry protected and risk mitigated in a way where they are also actually getting more peace of mind and a better workflow through their business, because building MSPs is hard work, and you're at the forefront, can be lonely work. So getting one of these aspects that can be troublesome out of the way is kind of part of our mission.
Yeah. Awesome.
So okay, but a couple of things here too, and this actually we'll stay with you first, Greg, because actually funny thing is you're both international companies, although they're just in the attic of the U.S.
America's hat.
So it doesn't really count, you know.
There's no big wall between us and them, though.
Yeah, there's no ocean, there's no nothing else going on. So how do you actually navigate this to do business? Because we know that there's a great deal more business in North America with MSPs than there is anywhere in the world, because they're just more, it's a more mature market, and so there's way more. So how do you actually leverage, or how do you navigate that, Greg, and maintain and still do business and maintain 24/7 everything, essentially? Because that's, or if you do business over there and here, it's 24/7 work. So how do you do
Well, we have a team, and they are located in Mexico, in Canada. Actually, one teammate's just about a few kilometers from where Kris is sitting. And so we have people that are in those different time zones. Some of them are around the world and domiciled also in the US. So our team, be it small, and growing, is international. And so time zones are definitely handled that way. We're not all based out of New Zealand with our strange time zone. There's only 2 of us. So that kind of directly goes to that. But as we grow and scale and get into the finals of PitchIT and hopefully win more than stake knives, the team will grow, and they'll be based out of the US.
Yeah, nice. So wait, when you win, did you say when you win PitchIT?
When a finalist, I'm just going for finalists. I don't want to be too much of a grandstander just yet.
Oh, I'm all about grandstanding. You can grandstand.
Well, I'll go for the grandstanding and throw the gauntlet down. We're going to win this thing.
That's right. What I'm talking about.
You know what, Greg? Take notes, Greg. Take notes. And he's Canadian. He's doing that. They don't do that.
I've got my pen here for notes.
We use pens.
Yeah, we're digital. I don't have it.
Just be careful.
I my son's school supplies today.
I'll break into some ray gun break dancing.
You know what I use a pen for? To bleed my lighters, so I can put butane in, so I can smoke cigars. Otherwise, this pen doesn't even work anymore. It's for show. It makes me look like smart. So yeah. All right. So now, Kris, you've declared you guys are winning. Greg said he hopes to be a finalist. A little soft, but who am I to say? But now, Greg, for you, second year in this, how do you feel about the difference between last year and this year for you personally?
Greg or Kris? Or
Greg. Kris is the first year.
It's true to me. I'd sum it up in the fact that I've actually sort of consolidated the knowledge more this year, and it was all quite new and overwhelming. At that time, we were really only our second year in market as well, so there was a lot going on. I think assimilating the knowledge and seeing the speakers this time actually probably allowed me to hone the skill a lot more and get more out of it. And probably the biggest difference as well is this cohort is really galvanized together and actually is sharing a lot and growing a lot more. Mm-hmm. And so as your program, and you having influence in the program, because this is year 3 for you, I think what you're doing is showing some real leadership and galvanizing that team together, because I've seen it grow as far as the sharing and learning that's happening out of the program, if you like, not necessarily on the actual calls or during the official stuff. It's all the unofficial stuff I've seen a real increase in, which has been fantastic.
Yeah, I'll add to that, Greg, if I could, is we've actually had conversations with 8 different cohort participants. We are doing behind the scenes integrations with a number of the platforms within the PitchIT cohort. It's really a collaborative and supportive environment. Even though we are competing against one another, there are a lot of crossover potential successes by bringing us together to create a tapestry, if you will, of offerings that can be for the MSP community. So I'm seeing a lot of those conversations as well. We're going to be doing co-sponsorships at events. Everything that you can imagine seems to be happening organically and supported and encouraged by the likes of Mr. Lardo.
Yeah, there's a couple of leaders within the sort of cohort that are sort of kicking those things off. I know you suggested to us our 3 international down under kangaroo breakdancers at the IT Nation conference next week get together for the PitchIT Lounge. That sort of thing just sort of has organically come around.
I sent cardboard boxes and trash bags to put down so you guys can break spin and stuff. And you parachute pants are en route, because I know how eager, when I said to you guys, you were so eager to do this, breakdancing. And one of you does the robot, the other does the the Caterpillar. I know, so I'm really excited.
I'm a Kiwi and we don't do much, and so I'm going to outsource mine. I'm just go down to Taronga Zoo and get one of the wallabies and actually just stick it on the rubbish bags.
There you go.
Do this ray gun anyway. So.
to get this back on track.
Oh yeah, let me bring it back to. First, I appreciate the kind words. It's my third year running this, and I will tell you what. Every year's been better than the best year so far. It seems like, because it went from 0 to a lot, right, and then a lot more, then even a lot more. And by that, it's like what I think has worked out in my favor actually is you reapplying and coming back in, which is why I messaged you like, Greg, you reapplying? You're like, oh yeah, I didn't think about it. My God, you're in the future. You still know what's going in the past. So I don't get what happened there, but who am I to judge? But it's important because you guys provide a continuity of, you're not the leadership per se, but you are kind of leadership because you are the veterans of the second year, and
it's true.
you guys are all willing to do it. So I like it. So I appreciate it too.
For sure.
Yeah, and so you're not starting again. So you get this improvement, and so that way you get this continuous forward motion, and it's definitely evident. So yeah, thanks for the invitation to come back a second time, and yeah, I hope you keep doing it because the evolution just seems to be moving forward well.
I agree. And even like with the last year's finalists and the year before that, they all stayed. Like, we find a place for all of them to be involved in one way, shape, or form, to keep everybody involved, because it becomes like a legacy thing. It becomes an alumni thing, right? And you got from the first year to this year, it doesn't work without you guys all being involved. I mean, we put out the press release to talk about all this, for the Battle Royale for next week, and like when we were writing up the press release, it was becoming more like a teamwork thing. And I was like, you know what the hell? It's still a competition. People need to know somebody's win. People are going to win a competition. Like, we can't just be holding each other's hands. When I should have just put Cavelo wins. Yeah. But didn't happen. I'm not in the future like Craig is, so I don't know what happened yet. But no, you guys have done great. And honestly, like, even look at like we did a channel CompTIA with the Crow's Nest and Threat Captain and Exemplify and all those guys that were involved, and we became the most talked about event at the event. Everybody wanted to be part of it, so it was a big deal. So I loved it.
You're getting quite a few people applying now, right? So what was there, 70 or 80 vendors apply?
What's that?
Well, there's quite a big group applying to be part of PitchIT now. It's not like 26 people get to straight out of the box.
Oh yeah, no, you're selected. Like, we go through a process. There's a ton of applicants, and that's what I try to tell people. Now we're at a point where, first off, by you making it into the program, you've already kind of won already, because it was an acceptance. You had to be accepted, and and we obviously, you guys do the short form, and we know, and then you do the long form, and you can write whatever you want in long form. Really, I mean, you shouldn't, but you can lie if you want. That's my point. But we don't stop at just looking at the long form. Well, they can, but we find out because we start doing our research. We literally look at your digital footprints. We look at your social posts. We look at reviews. We look at all those things. We look at I mean, most of you probably saw my profile pop up on your LinkedIn profile because I was totally stalking you guys to see what had happened, where you came from. We literally have a committee that sits there and goes through this and selects the 26.
I mean, my wife actually thought you were my USA boyfriend. You were stalking me so much for a while there. So
me and Mar. No, he's mine. So anyway,
it's weird because she gave me her number, and I'm like, I'm not texting you. It's international. I don't have international rates.
All I heard was that I've already won twice because this is my second year in a row. So thank you very much.
Yeah, there you go.
You're
so
welcome. Thank you.
So let's shift in a different little bit of gear here. And so, Kris, for you, can you share maybe a success story a client's had, or maybe a really awesome milestone that Cavelo's had on this journey of creating the company and so forth?
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of funny because in preparation for PitchIT, we were kind of pulling some numbers and metrics together and trying to figure out, where we are along our roadmap. And we realized that we have 40,000 of our agents deployed out into the world in the wild active, looking for the data, doing data and discovery and identity access management, vulnerability management, and data and asset discovery in client environments for MSPs. 40,000. That's a pretty good footprint. And those agents in aggregate are finding and aggregating, $12.8 billion worth of potential risk and liability for that set of customers for our MSP partners. So it's a fairly significant thing. in relation to the fact that we're really only 3 years in market. So we're getting a lot of partner traction because we are one of the very few things in the market that allow people to have visibility into their customers' environments and understand, if I'm an MSP and I'm getting a new customer, what am I actually taking on for liability at that customer? Because most of the time people just accept new customers and blindly try to manage their environments. Well, we give them the way to fully understand the responsibility they're taking on, because they'll know all aspects of where's that customer's crown jewels, who's got access to them, where the vulnerabilities live and what to do about it, and all the devices that live in that customer environment that they will then be responsible for.
So let me ask this question. So you have 40,000 agents now. What's the big vision? Is it 1 million agents? What is the big vision?
Well, I can tell you this. Our previous exit in a similar space to a large MDR provider currently has 1.5 million agents in the market. So we are capable of doing the scaling to that amount because we've done it before. So we are on track for that, and we don't envision that'll take terribly long in market.
Okay, and is that how you measure kind of success, is the number of deployed agents out there?
It's one of our metrics for sure, yeah,
Okay.
because we're constantly trying to understand what is our cogs behind the scenes on that, how can we do that proper scaling. Ease of deployment and administration for MSPs is a key metric and concern for us. We want it to be friction-free, barrier-free. We need it to be super set it and forget it, because we know the more an MSP has to touch a tool that they use, the less their bottom line is. So we want us to be the kinder, gentler vendor that they have at the top of their list.
Nice. Okay. Greg, what about you? Like, what's been kind of a big milestone or a share, a success story for your client base, or share a little bit about that?
We had a success story with Nashville Computers that were in a position where they're missing renewals, took a long time to get contracts as well as proposals out into market, then to detach them and store them and build the contract. There was a lot of process that we wanted to innovate and automate through to be able to get streamlined, and they took 90% of that manual time and process out of their whole contract side of things, which gave them more account management time because it was down to the account management. But also they had a 10% increase in monthly recurring revenue within a short space in time, because they were not missing renewals. They were getting to upsell and cross-sell opportunities through the platform. And so they actually, we managed to go and see them when I was over for a show before Punta Cana, actually before I saw Sean Lardo, and spent some time in their office. They literally said this software revolutionized the way that we were doing business, and we're really thankful for that. And they wrote us a great endorsement letter, which was fantastic. It was very heartwarming to see, because this originally came out of my head a few years ago as a thing to design, and now it's got a life of its own, and it's helping other MSP owners. So that was great. Well, we're scaling. We're close to 200 MSPs worldwide across 9 countries using the platform now. We've got a BHAG of getting up to 100,000 contracts under management, and when I mean that, it's they're being monitored and measured. They are reminding account managers around the renewals that are coming up in the next 2, 3, 4, 9 weeks, whatever is configured, and it is an ability to be able to easily identify what your whole master service agreement framework looks like, who's actually running on what version of your sets of terms and conditions, so you can sleep at night, and it'll give you a single platform that says you're at 100%. Everyone's running on the latest digital paper and version of your contracts. I mean, I know I wish I had that when I had my MSP, and it's probably the biggest selling point that we have at the moment when we show that to MSP owners that want to get peace of mind and know exactly where their contract's at. Then it's a good place to be. It's one thing to have a contract. It's another thing to have that seen and signed and stored by all of your customers. And that's a really one main thing that we're after.
Awesome.
Good.
Sean?
I don't know what to go with that, because he covered a lot of stuff. I mean, at this point, I think it's more about like, are you guys ready to go at it the next 2 weeks? Because this literally comes down to the end is happening the next 2 weeks. So Kris, you ready for this? I mean, you said you're going to win everything, but are you really ready?
Yeah, we're definitely in a good place. We've got things honed and dialed in, and we've taken a lot of the good nuggets after the last 16 weeks of presentations and guidance and mentors, and have distilled that down into something that we can stand behind.
Nice.
I just happened to see something. It looks like Richard Nixon's in your background. So is this a Cavelo gate thing?
No, that's the Godfather.
That's the Godfather.
I can't see. Like it's like so tiny.
That's
on the-
Marlon Brando.
Man.
It's not Winston Churchill.
So he's Canadian, has Richard Nixon on his wall because that makes sense.
That's El Jefe in the back.
It's
there.
so
I have
small.
Trudeau on my wall. I'm all about the Prime Minister.
If I can offer any advice just for being the second year, Kris, we think you might have too many slides. You probably do, and go for 4 minutes, and it will, during the competition, it will end up being 5. That'd be my one piece of advice. Last year, I probably tried to stuff too much in. This year, I've gone for 3 minutes 45 just to give myself some time to move and ebb and flow. And it's a whole new slide deck, but it's some of the best themes. You don't get feedback after the finals, by the way, but certain people, if you reach out to them, will tell you. And we probably tried to cram too much in last year. Maybe just a simple what you do, what the benefits are, how they can get it, what will you do with the money, that side of things. So simplification is probably my biggest piece of advice.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I think that's why I use the word distill, because we've been trying to strip it down and simplify and compress.
What you find is you'll find slides that are redundant. You think you have to keep telling somebody the same thing over and over in different ways to explain it, which means that you suck at explaining it. So you should just think of how to trim it to 2 sentences. The goal is, the simplest thing is 3 bullets per slide with a picture. If you can do that, it forces you to distill. I'm not saying you have to end it that way, but that's the point. 3 bullets are involved in that slide with an image, a graph, or whatever, and you've done your job on each slide. And just start with 4 or 5 categories. Again, I tell everybody the same thing. What problem you're solving for, why you decided to do it, how you do it, what's your differentiator, and who you guys are and who you work with. Those are your 5 categories.
Yeah.
If you go above and beyond that, you've just told me shit I don't care about.
Yeah.
So yeah. So all right, we're about wrapping up here. I know Adam will start to break out in hives if we don't at certain times.
It's in between sessions right now, and people are swinging by. It's like
And it doesn't matter.
Jody, hey Jody, I got Sean Lardo right here.
Oh, there's Jody.
Jody.
Don't bring him on. See that. This is Jody Hicks. You're fine. I love you.
Jody is yeah.
He works for IT Nation Evolve. He's the guy that talks to all the partners to recruit the partners into Evolve. So
exactly right.
Real good, wholesome guy, literally.
Yep, very much so.
All right, so we have to wrap this up before Adam breaks out into hives, not because it's in between sessions, but because Adam does literally break out in hives.
I also have a speaking session here in 15 minutes. So just like you last week, Sean. So I get the feeling.
I know, it's so good. So all right, so
I haven't even tipped for it. So
yeah. Well, you got to shut up so we can get this done. Man. All right, so over the next 2 weeks, it's going to be finalized for all you guys, and we'll see who's going to be there at Connect. And I know, Kris, you guys are sponsoring Connect anyway. Greg, are you sponsoring IT Nation Connect in Orlando?
Yeah, that's our intent. Still working it out, but yep, we'll be there.
Perfect. So yeah,
awesome.
So already going to be there. I just encourage anybody watching this to make sure they attend and tune in over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, registration is open, by the way, too. IT Nation Connect. So definitely check out IT Nation Connect, because you'll see all of us out there, and all the
and it's still the early bird
be out there as well.
And it's still early bird
pricing. It is still early bird pricing, but let's channel program starting. Is it next week, Sean?
Tuesday.
There's live, so definitely go to channelprogram.com. I'm sure they're going to have something on their website. Or Sean, you might have a different link. We'll throw it in the comments. So it's be awesome. And one last closing thing, Kris, if you win the prize, which you say you're going to be number 1, what are you going to do with the prize money? That's $70,000.
Yep, we have intentions to reinvest it in going to all 4 Evolve shows with ConnectWise in 2025. We do not do that today. We will do that when we win.
Awesome. That's pretty awesome. Greg, how about you?
Yeah, I think so. Evolve, IT Nation Connect, but I'll be flying there first class. That sounds good.
So that's $40,000
That's
right
what
there.
I'm talking about. It's not first class on international. It's business. Just
Well, it's a lot better than where I normally fly now. So let's just run with that.
that's awesome. That's a good way to spend a portion of the money. I like that. You got to be comfortable. You got to be well relaxed.
Well rested.
That's it.
Well rested.
You're right.
Well, appreciate you guys. Thank you guys very much. It's been awesome learning about you guys and what you guys do. So a lot of guys' words in there.
Let's guys.
Thanks, Adam. Good luck with your seminar.
All right. Yeah, appreciate it. Peace out, guys.
Cheers.
All right. Thanks.